This is The Space Shot, episode 138 for September 29th, 2017. SpaceX, Discovery, and Cassiope. Hey everyone, welcome to The Space Shot, your daily space history, pop culture, and news fix. I'm John Molnix. First off, I stayed up pretty late last night watching the SpaceX event in Australia, and whoa, it did not disappoint. Elon Musk outlined plans for a modified version of the interplanetary launcher that was announced last year. Some of the things have been scaled back on the temporarily titled BFR, or Big Freaking Rocket. The diameter of the rocket was originally 12 meters, and now it's down to 9. The number of engines has also been scaled back from 42 to 31, all of which are the new Raptor methane oxygen design that SpaceX has been conducting subscale tests with. The rocket is designed to carry up to 150 metric tons into low Earth orbit while returning to Earth with as much as 50 tons of payload. Its 9-meter wide fairing allows satellites to be almost 9 meters wide, which could lead to a drastic altering of how satellites are designed. The rocket is also able to land on the Moon and Mars. Musk shared visions of potential Moon and Mars bases with the audience, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. Critics will be quick to point out that SpaceX has been notorious about slipping launch schedules, and the 2022 timeframe for the first Mars mission is optimistic. Musk calls it aspirational, and I would love to be able to see them succeed in getting to Mars during that timeframe. He also spoke about the Falcon Heavy, stating that, quote, hopefully it will make its first launch by the end of this year. Whenever that launch ends up happening, I'm hoping I will get to see it in person. And one more thing on the SpaceX news from last night, the BFR was also announced in a configuration that would allow people to, quote, fly to most places on Earth in under 30 minutes and anywhere in under 60. Cost per seat should be about the same as a full-fare economy in an aircraft. Forgot to mention that. That was a quote from Musk's Instagram account. The show notes are going to be full today, so be sure to check them out because there's lots of content for that talk. I will also have this content in the weekly wrap-up post on Facebook, so be sure to check that out. SpaceX wasn't the only company or agency to announce plans for new systems during the International Astronautical Congress in Australia. Lockheed Martin, NASA, and Roscosmos all made announcements as well. And I'll have coverage of those developments over the weekend. On September 29th, 1988, the Space Shuttle Discovery launched on the return-to-flight mission after the Challenger disaster that occurred on January 28th, 1986. I apologize for Mr. Tim here. He's been this way all morning. Discovery embarked on a mission to deploy one of the TDRS satellites, specifically TDRS 3. Since this was a return-to-flight mission, NASA elected to send a crew of all veteran astronauts on board STS-26. The crew also wore pressure suits for this mission, a precaution that hadn't been taken since early shuttle flights. This flight of Discovery had a rather fun wake-up call on the second day of the mission, so be sure to catch tomorrow's episode to find out about that. On September 29, 2013, a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launched Cassiope, or the Cascade Smallsat Ionospheric Polar Explorer, which is a Canadian space agency mission that's studying space weather and communication technologies. This launch for SpaceX is notable because it was the first time that the Falcon 9 flew in the 1.1 configuration with the now familiar Octaweb engine arrangement, replacing the old 3x3 engine layout on the older version of the Falcon 9. Cassiope studies space weather, specifically the region where, quote, space meets the upper atmosphere. The satellite also carries the experimental Cascade technology demonstrator. The Canadian Space Agency page for Cassiope describes it as a space-based courier, allowing for the transmission of large data packets across the world. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to start posting a weekly wrap-up post on Facebook every Sunday. Make sure to follow the Space Shot on Facebook so you don't miss those posts. Check out the show notes for more information on today's episode, and be sure to connect with me on Instagram and Twitter. Find me at John Molnix. I'm always up to chat. You can also connect with me on Facebook. Just search The Space Shot, or you can click the direct link in the show notes. Let me know what you think of the show by leaving a rating in iTunes. It takes just a minute to do that, and it makes a huge difference because it helps even more people find the show. I'd also appreciate if you could share the Space Shot with your friends and family, and anyone else that enjoys podcasts. Tomorrow, Serenity. I'm John Molnix, and I'll catch you on the flip side.